networking, career expos, mentorship. For some, taking part in these career development activities comes naturally, but for others, it's not so easy. It can be a daunting task to meet with people you don't know to talk about your skills and aspirations. And while it can sometimes be difficult for people early in their career to ask for guidance, it's an important step forward for personal and professional growth. Minda Hartz knows this journey all too well. Today, Hartz is the CEO of The Memo LLC, a career development platform for women of color. She's also the author of the book, You Are More Than Magic, The Black and Brown Girl's Guide to Finding Your Voice. She recounts her younger years when she would seek out mentors who inspired her.
When I saw someone in town that was interesting or intriguing, or they were a business owner, I would be the type of kid who, now I'm going to age myself, would find their information in the phone book, right? And I'd call them and say, can I spend time with you? Can I talk to you? And, find out what you're doing. And I didn't know that these people would eventually become mentors, but I sought them out because I wanted similar paths to what they had, and I wanted to know what that ingredient was.
It can be a lengthy process to form this network of connections. It requires a lot of patience and perseverance. It's okay if it doesn't feel like second nature from the get-go. In fact, despite her public-facing career, Hartz classifies herself as an introvert.
I looked at the people who were at the table that I wasn't at, and I said, what is it that they have that I don't have? And one of the things was using my voice. I was nervous to say how I felt or give my ideas because I just was always the only one, so I felt a little nervous about putting myself out there. And I invested in public speaking courses because I'm like, if I want to shape a room, then I got to activate my voice, and I need the tools to do that. And so I have control over that part. And so that has been one of investing in myself and betting on myself and encouraging myself has been what's got me to this point today.
And it's never too early to get started. The connectivity of social media is just one powerful tool that can bridge people together.
Mentors can be people you know, and they can be people you don't know. So, for example, we have access to LinkedIn or Twitter and social media. There are people that you could find and listen to their podcasts and give you advice that you never, ever have to meet, right? But then there are people that you can reach out to cold and say, hey, I see that you talk about, becoming a teacher. I'm thinking about becoming a teacher. Could I get a 15-minute virtual coffee with you? I have some questions I want to ask. These are ways that we can put ourselves out there. And I think in this day and age, people are more likely to say yes if you come with an agenda, if you come prepared.
Abigail Ingram echoes this sentiment and says that many professionals leap at the opportunity to be mentors. Ingram is the executive director at the Polsky Exchange at the University of Chicago, a community-facing program that hosts career events, connects people with mentors, and more. Currently, the initiative works with around 100 mentors that are successful in their respective careers.
The way that it works is they hold one-on-one appointments with students and faculty and other alumni, non-university members, so those community members who are part of the Polsky Exchange. And this results in about 100 to 200 hours of mentoring through this program every month.
While this can sound like a great opportunity, you might be wondering, how do I find the right person for me? How do I narrow down the search on platforms like LinkedIn? If you're working remotely, it can be particularly hard to develop a deeper connection with someone in the workplace.
There used to be a very organic process. Traditionally, a mentor would be found organically. You would be in your place of work, or if you're an entrepreneur, meeting entrepreneurs through industry connections. And it meant that traditional mentorship could, without individuals making a concerted effort, which of course does happen, unintentionally reinforce problems in the working world and in entrepreneurship. So my example of, let's say, women not breaking through to the C-suite at the rate that men do, that can happen because of the way that mentor roles have been set up in the past. Formalizing mentorship programs is one way that we can start to address inequalities in the working world, inequalities in the world of entrepreneurship, and it makes the program at Polsky and at other institutions that much more important.
So if you're feeling lost, it can be helpful to start the search at your alma mater or another university. Many institutions offer career development programs and mentorship matching.
If you start looking, there isn't a huge shortage of mentor programs. There are a lot of mentor programs actually that are underutilized. So reaching out for those formal programs, whether it's because you are working, you're employed by someone else, and there's a particular industry that you're working in, or even large companies will have their own mentorship programs, plenty of mentorship programs that are based on demographics. So for example, why are so many women hired and move up, but then so few break into the C-suite? I mean, this is something that's recently been grappled with finally. And the result of that has been mentor programs that are specific to women to try to solve what is being seen now finally as a problem. So looking for those formal mentor programs, I highly recommend.
Ingram says that social media can also be extremely useful, but it's important to seek out the right people based on what you're looking for.
Run a LinkedIn search for people who have the title that you want, or look at people who are higher up in your company or even higher up at your competitors' companies who are in the same industry. And so long as you're not causing a conflict, reach out to people. The benefits of being a mentor are so extensive, and those who have mentored are so familiar with. People always say, I get more back by being a mentor than being a mentee. So the amount of people who really are willing and want to help is overwhelming. I think a lot of times people don't reach out because they're afraid that they're causing some sort of burden. And the truth is, if people don't have time to speak with you or don't want to take on mentees, they won't. They simply won't respond.
And there's no right time to seek out a mentor. You can be 15 or 55. A mentor is simply someone who's there to provide guidance and input as you continue to grow.
Your network is your net worth. So the sooner that you start bringing people into your world who are really going to enrich your life and your career, the better it's going to be for you, for your job prospects, and just for you as a person.
To find out more about this topic and our guests, Minda Hartz and Abigail Ingram, visit viewpointsradio.org. You can learn more about the Polsky Exchange by visiting polsky.uchicago.edu. This segment was written and produced by Amira Zaveri. I'm Gary Price. Coming up on Viewpoints.
We are social beings, and we build our sense of self in community with other people.
The deepening mental health crisis in adolescence. Then,
on average, annually, diamond exports are about $3 billion a year from Russia.
A look at the diamond trade that's fueling Russia's invasion of Ukraine. I'm Marty Peterson.
And I'm Gary Price. These stories in depth on your public affairs magazine, Viewpoints.
And that's Viewpoints for this week. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram to learn more about upcoming shows and find a library of past programs on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Spotify. Plus, you'll always find previous segments and more information about our guests at viewpointsradio.org. Join us again next week for another edition of Viewpoints.